protect against hackers, against data leak. So today's lecture providing dark sides of the Star Wars, dark seats. We'll call you to the dark side of QA science. So I'm also inviting you to dark side. Let's join and learn the power of darkness. Today we'll have a little bit theory. I will explain you what is security testing. We will talk about this, and after this, in the end of the lesson, we will try a process on the practice, so you will understand how bad you become in the end of this lesson. So how we start? Come to dark side, and our duty to understand hacker. You need to become a hacker. So as I told, security testing is something that considers on protection your system from the hackers' attack, from the security leaks, from the data stealing, and so on, so on. Mostly, security testing is part of web testing because web systems is very vulnerable from the attacks. That the desktop and vulnerable, right? Vulnerable. The web system is the most vulnerable from the hacker attack. The second place is of course mobile systems that are also vulnerable, but the most of attacks, most of the stealings lies on the side of web testing. So, and before we will start, I will tell you, security testing requires knowledge about common hacker attacks, vulnerabilities, ways of data stealing, replacing, and so on. And I want to ask, what is the difference between negative testing and security testing? Who can tell me?
נגטיב אגב זה אירורים, כמו שאנחנו.
It seems similar because negative is supposed to do something that break, and security also want to intrude, want to break. So where is the difference?
So I would say that negative testing is mostly on things that actually the users is going to do errors on it. Like, for example, it's going to have like it's going to use two buttons at the same time, but I think that usually someone as a normal user would do it. Actually, and security testing is someone who has knowledge in the hacking system to actually try to ensure the software.
Yes, you're most right. Negative testing is based on functional testing. You have your functional test, like your positive scenarios, what you want to check. And all that are besides of this that can hurt your system by normal user, will be negative testing. And the key word of the security testing is protection not from common user, it's protection from the skilled user, even programmer. Most of best hackers need to know programming because if you want really exploit some vulnerability, you need to probably know the code. The most popular code for intruding is JavaScript. So, and the SQL for SQL injections. So, today we'll talk about XSS attacks, SQL injections, XSRF, vulnerabilities, or XSRF is the same name, code injections, and other types, and of data interception. What is data interception? You'll know at the end. So, let's start with XSS vulnerability. The most common are XSS vulnerability is very wild vulnerability, and most commons are the injection script into the input fields. It's most common, most popular. You can meet it most of times. The second one is injection script to the URL of the website, And another one, I didn't script a post get request, which is one more profound, and more clever attack. And it's not the whole list. You know, the hacker's world always changing, and there are, for example, new XSS attack that was invented so far as XSS injection to the cookies. For example, many sites now store the information in the cookies, and if user will try to change it, also can inject something to the server. Okay, let's start. And what is cross-site scripting? XSS. XSS is mean cross-site scripting. It's a type of attack on web-based system which consists in including attacker's code issued to the web system page, which will be executed on user's computer after it opening, and the interaction of this code with attacker's web page to collect user's data. To demonstrate why XSS happens, and who can tell me why the most popular language of XSS attacks is JavaScript? We have idea why JavaScript, why not PHP? We have here an example of PHP.
Was it more common than the PHP? I would guess.
No, they're same. It's not about how common is this. Okay, I'll give you an answer. What?
Because it's easier as well.
No, just one of the. From my point of view, JavaScript is the hardest languages I ever met. For example, I know Java and Java more easy really. PHP is one of the easiest languages. No, the reason is one and very simple, because JavaScript is running by web browser. It don't need compiler. It's very easier to attack, because if you send this code, browser will run it immediately. So that's why on these languages is mostly of the is like 99% of all attack is JavaScript, because if you will include your script in some web page, you have a way to do it. The browser will perform it and attack you. He will not ask you. Okay, let's continue. Let's look on this code. You don't need to know. You don't need to know programming. We'll try to understand this without programming. So what this command do? By the keyword refresh, we want to suppose that it's going to work when you will click refresh in the browser. But what it do? When you refresh browser, it's take the current URL from the current browser line. So when you will click this button, it will take this all what is written here and reload page and take this URL back. Where is the problem? It's okay. For me, it looks good. It will work nice, because it's very clear, because it will take the page where I am now. Yes, it don't want to go to home page of site every time. It want to go to the current page. And where is it? It's right in my browser main line. So, but what will happen if, for example, user will add to this browser main line this code script alert XSS script? It will happen cross-site scripting. Why? Because any browser executes JavaScript as at all with the page content and is excluded into your request. There is a main feature of this work that run JavaScript. That's why it will run this code. By the way, why we use I wrote other XSS script, and you will see it many times. Usually hackers don't write other XSS, because this command will pop up that someone this user can see. All hackers do it silently, and we're doing this only for demonstrations that it really works. It was taught. I just explained why this happens. Yes, that PHP command URL get URL from the current code, take the comments of current URL in pure state and replace it with all that user adds. This is the easiest explanation why XSS attacks happens. Yes, because sometimes developer doesn't know that somebody wants to run XSS. Even consider that somebody wants to exploit his site in such way. So the tester's task is to Ukrainian bugs. I'm really sorry that this is partially in Russian, but that's why I work our software built in Russian. So I'll explain. This is chat with operator, and you have some dialogue with operator. And I put script inside, and you see how it's working. What kind of XSS attack it is? You can suggest. I have 4 suggestions, so not so much.
בעיקרון לבנק, להכניס סקריפטים.
Passive?
No.
No, that's the active. You're looking for the user to actually press something, to do an action.
Not press. It's active because I am just talk with operator, so I send to him. If it's dialogue, it's always changing. It will never store on the server. So I open the dialogue and send to him a script that will execute. You see how it executes only because I made a script that show that he executes. And so we know that it's active. And about vector, it's direct or reflective. It's reflective because I sent to the server, it was encoded. I don't know if you can see this, it was in such view. It was sent in kind of HTML character with hash. You know HTML encoding? That every character in HTML has its code. It starts with hash and some numbers. So I sent this script, JavaScript, encoding to the hash. It was reflected by server. It was decoded back to the script. It works only back to the client side. And who can tell me why it's dangerous? Why it's hacker attack? What can be done after?
Steal data, chat with other users.
I can steal my chat with operator.
Not
It's my
yours.
chat with him.
Not yours, other chats from the same operator.
Yes, how are you gonna do it?
I'm asking you, I don't know. I assume, I don't know.
Okay.
I assume it takes his operation like user, and then just anytime that he logs into another chat, you can steal the chat from the other user that he's talking with.
Yes, almost right. I even don't need when he will be online. I have his cookies, so I go to the site, take
can
any
log in
users,
as him.
yes, log in as him. I don't need him be active. It's even as hacker, I will go when he is not online because he don't see my actions. So I'll get access to bank chat, and I can talk with clients of bank as well as I'm working here.
Convince them to give you all the money.
Yes, convince them to give more money, their card's number, and so on. So, Darth Vader spoke description. Darth Vader spoke to support with Internet Bank, and in this case he posted the JS image tag, image SRC, JavaScript, other SRC. This I'll give you later a cheat sheet of such kind of tag. And what it's doing, it's image, it's tag for HTML image. But source of image, it should be path. But also HTML allows to put instead of path of image some JavaScript code, which will upload this image from, for example, from another server. But you don't have to obviously to put here some script which upload image. You can put your custom script. And for example, this chat didn't allow you to pass common JavaScript, any commands. But it didn't have protection, especially for image, because this chat worked on not only with text but with image. Like user can send to operator image, and hacker can play with this. So they had protection against the poor JavaScript, against the text. If you put the text, it was decoded and didn't work. But if you pay tag for image, that protection they didn't have, so they failed here.
So the name of the image was the script?
Instead of image source was JavaScript. You don't really have to know JavaScript. Of course, it's very good. You should know it. But in that lessons, we will have cheat sheet of common scripts that can work in different cases, so you can use it. This is discipline for testers. It's not really for programmers. To find such kind of attacks, you don't really need to know programming. You need just know some tags and common ways to attack systems. So next one attack. It's very good. It's attack itself, and I will show you the access after I have. So this one is merchant of internet banking. It's a place where you can put your private data. It's field name, surname, country, zip codes, address, and so on. Just it's your bank account, and you give information to bank about yourself. You have a lot of fields, and for each field, I tried different JavaScript. This is common JavaScript and command alert through pop-up. This one is the same, but decoded to HTML characters. This one a link to. This was also interesting. It's a link to a hacker web page that contains script inside. So when link is processed by server, it goes by link and upload script. This one another kind of script with tags against the decoding. Also script. This is script put it as CSS style. Also CSS style and common. So what I did, I submit the script, input different scripts, submit it before. I found that it worked. Then I put another script, silent, that didn't throw any pop-ups, that sent information to my sniffer web page that collect data. What we're after? The previous image shows the setting of merchant of online payments. Where I put XSRF. And this one is admin panel of this payment system. So the script sent in from the side of user, and it attacks. It attacks merchant panel. So I'm getting information of administrator of all this payment system. So I can log in to the back office of this bank payment system and make payments, withdraw money, do whatever you want. It's much stronger than even have access to common user. You can steal only his money, but in this case you can steal all money of this bank.
Big, basically.
Yeah, so the most dangerous places when it works with back office operators and so on and so on. And now we see how it works. We go ahead. Another we actually talk about this. It says vulnerabilities in the URL. It consists in adding instead of any URL request parameters JavaScript comment. The vulnerability is always active. To attack, you need bypass infected URL to a person that way until someone presses the button to criticize. It's actually a little bit old attack. So if, for example, the sites, there is some sites that victim know, some famous site like Israel News, blah blah blah, and you find that it has vulnerability in the URL. So you can add parameter to some address. You add script that will show. In this case, it will show users cookies, but actually, in hacker's way, it will be different code. And after that, you encrypt it in URL format. So it's not so clear what it's doing. Yes, it's some persons, numbers, letters, something looks Okay, but you see main, you see mysite.com. So it's site that you know, for example. Site that you know, and it has vulnerability. So how attackers were doing in this way? So they find these vulnerabilities, put such links in well-known resources. So somebody see a link to resource he knows, so he's not afraid really that it will be attacked. But when he click, he become attacked because, as we talked before, developers did not protect system correct from the XSS attacking. The essence is the same in the first two cases. Hacker goes bypass the verification of the client. If client side takes some parameters from URL of the site and doesn't shield them from the XSS, such kind of site is dangerous for not only for him and for even for all other web. It happens that the scripts are filtered on the client but not filtered on the server. And then the aim is bypass to check and send the request directly to the server, and how we can do it. For example, you check in, you check it everything, you check input fields, you check URL, you check every parameter you put, and everything is okay. You don't see the scripts execute. But how you can go inside deeply? Because most of vulnerabilities are not on the top. You look into the network of your browser and you looking on the real requests that are sending while you're working. And when you look into these requests, you can try to put the scripts inside the request besides the client side. Are you understanding what I'm talking about? So you can use special tools. You can send. You have a DOM to browser request post client, which can allow you send any request, post or get. So you create your own request and send to the server, and check if it's filters from the server. And you can use some tool like Charlies and tamper data to stop request, modify it, and send it again. So it's very important to understand that it's not enough that protection is on the client side. It's very important that the server also didn't allow to bypass such scripts. It's about XSS vulnerabilities, and as I told you, you don't have to know JavaScript. You don't have to be a real hacker, and there is a lot of help. I will show you. And there are a lot of interesting tools that allow you to do it even instead of me, or instead of you. For example, this very good add-on XSS min. I will save you time to demonstrate it now, but you should know, you can remember it. XSS min is add-on. You install it to Firefox. It will automatically check all inputs of the browser for all possible XSS.
Does it take more time to load the page then? Because it does an examination.
It works long. Of course, it takes some time, but it's much faster than doing it all manually. Another program, REST client, it's add-on to send web requests. So if you tested all fields, all forms, and URL, and it doesn't have any vulnerabilities, so you can try to send a request directly to the server and see if the XSS attack won't be reflected. It's a program called REST client. Another one very good tool, right-click XSS. It's the most effective tool for manual testing of XSS. What it gives you when you hover mouse in some field. I don't have it here. Okay, you just have sesame sidebar. Okay, the site have no forms, so you have to just believe me. When you have some form on the site, you mouse over on the form, it's automatically will pass XSS tag, like script XSS script that will work, automatically, so you don't have even to remember them. So this program, you don't have to remember this all tax scripts. This tool will automatically put it into the input. And this one we will look right now. This one is good reset. No, this is XSS cheat sheet, and it contains most of the common XSS attacks that will beat the site. For example, it's image that contains JavaScript code that will through pop up. This is just through pop up. This is a script with image that decoded to HTML characters and UTF-8 characters. It's all for affected attacks. If server shield, client or server shield, you can try in encoding code. You can try put encoded code so it will code it back. So you will lose this server, and so on, so on. So all hackers all do it for you. You just can use all of the scripts, and after you'll get some experience, create your own, looking into the code. But first of all, you can use all these common scripts from this cheat sheet. Tens of such kind of scripts, and that's almost about XSS attacks. Let's summarize. The most exploited vulnerability by hackers is XSS. It's very dangerous for banking products, risk of kidnapping money, and products which store users' private information. To build attack, you need to have small knowledge in JavaScript, but nevertheless it's easy to find vulnerability by even not experienced tester, using all cheat sheets, using own stuff, using own documentation. You just need to know that there are 3 places where you can put it: all inputs, URL, and requests. So if you check all of this, so you can say that almost the site is almost the same. And let's check this link. Additional articles about. Oh my God! That it was hacker links, and now Darth Vader stole my cookies, and it's displayed. He told I stole your cookies, and he displayed nothing because this site don't have really cookies. So poor Darth Vader. But that's how it works. You click some links, you expect normal link, but actually it executes a script and do whatever you want. So this site is also a little bit hacky. So my cookie is stolen. I don't even know what to do. We look into the Star Wars, had fun, and we go ahead. And now, yes, maybe you have some questions about XSS. Something was clear. You have some questions.
I am.
Yeah.
If I'm Dhaka, I don't know, JavaScript in Facebook, someone will click it. How I get the information? Well, in my website, in my email.
It's good questions, and you actually don't really need to care about this because you're learning for QA, not for hacker. If here was course for hacker, of course I'll tell you about the sniffers. At first, you will know. It's no matter how to talk about sniffer, how to collect the data. But I actually talked a little bit about it. This is it's demonstration. It's ways that you can see that it really works. Actually, it silently sends requests to the special website sniffer called sniffer. It's their work eternal loop, looking for input incoming requests. So instead of this alert, blah blah blah, this firewalks and so on, hacker silently sends to the sniffer and just see information about the cookies. There are special sites that looking for requests, and the work of JavaScript is also sending to requests, post, get, sending data. So it just will send information and that's it. If you want to know about this, if you want to become a hacker, you need to just to read about sniffers. It's called. It's a system that listen for data that is for data sending by users, and in such case, it's stolen data.
ככה לא? אפשר ללבש שם?
לא, אני כבר מדברים. זה לא מה.
Just remember another demonstration. I forgot about it. Another demonstration. I don't know what is the site. It's Archiv Denisberg Deck. It's German website. But if you can on the screen, what do you see? It's not my site. I don't really know it. What is written here? XSRF vulnerable by Dmitry K. So it's actually my work, how I did it. Look here. How it works? This site refers to the parameter. Parameter is number of some book. For example, book number 203.
You just added the...
I just added it.
Header.
HTML. Yes, I just added HTML header. It's HTML header to demonstrate. Yes, I can do everything. I can add image here. I can even put iframe with my page. So for someone who will send links for these sites, some sites should have something. Actually, he will see what I want. This is a hacker attack. So just now, small example, one line. And what it should be, what it really should show. It should show some book. It's number 203. But actually, instead of this book, I put my name to proud myself. Why it happens? Let's see. It's like the same example from the similar to example from the slides. Here, it's happened same problem as I described. It takes something from the URL. Instead of protect data, instead of take something directly from the server, it takes, you see here for this link, it takes some parameter from the URL. It's takes the number from the URL, send it to server, receive from the server this book, and put it inside. But it didn't expect that someone can add his own code to this number, because they just believe to the URL. So after I added some my custom code, it's sent to server. Server didn't process it correct because it's not number. Server expect number. It didn't process it. It returned and show what I put there. So here I can put my data to write something for me, just for me. I can put some script that will attack whatever I can do with this site to put my data and use this domain, use this name of the site for my attacks. So it's it's just bad that someone can use your web page to his own purpose. I don't think someone will want to do it. So we continue.
Maybe take a 5 minutes break.
Okay.
We should.
Okay, let's take 5 minutes
break.
break. See you 5 minutes. It's a formal way to ask something from database. When you ask, select me something from this table. SQL is specific languages. It depends on database that you're asking for. So, for example, I don't know. It's no, I don't have any real example.
They all learn
languages.
They learn it. They learn the skill.
They learn SQL.
Most of
them. If you learn SQL is common languages, but if you work with some specific database, it have some specific commands or works only with this database. Every company that's creating database like Sun, like MongoDB, they have something specific. But in general, SQL is one languages, and where sites use SQL, when they use, how it works.
Usually you have requests, for example, on your website that would go and pick up the data from the database.
Yeah.
For instance, if a customer wants to know some kind of information about yourself or something, he types the request and it goes into a code that says select as data.
Okay. Yes. Right. So usually users choose something in form. I want a T-shirt size M, and it's great. It's great request. Select me all T-shirts with size where size is S and M. And it returns the answer, and then website displayed in a beautiful way. So SQL returns pure data from database, and site displays this in a good view. So what is SQL injections? It's included on hacker's query, in origin SQL query. The essence is vulnerability that in additional to main query on this damaging it will execute any third-party request that will reveal to database or server owner. So, for example, you have a form that you only can choose a T-shirts with different size and colors, and that's it. But if there is no protection about additional SQL intrusion, so users can add to the request for T-shirts and something information, and what he can do, what the common command in SQL, you know, for example, select get information, so he can get protected information. So if he got all size of T-shirts, it's not a problem. But if he get all the get know about all users about T-shirts, this is private information. What else instead of select?
All the
Yeah, or about I'm talking about main commands. He can read data. He can delete data, drop database. Inserts. He can put his own T-shirts with hacker prints that will sell. So it's bad words, whatever. So it's really dangerous. He can not only take the information, but he can also damage databases, put in new data, or even drop it. By the way, when a hacker can drop database, and when what he needs to drop database? Yes, he needs access. He needs get authorization, and by the SQL injections, it's also possible to get information about admin. About this, there is a protection. If you will not call your admin user admin, it will be hard to get information. But most of sites really have the username of is admin with small or big letters. That's why hackers can request from database even a password from a user. It's called admin. So it's a common. Okay. How hacker can achieve this? When the ways of the SQL injection performed. So this is being injection directly into the visible URL. So same like we did with XSS, same but easier. You include SQL to the request. Then you can inject into the background request raw XML JSON. You open browser, you inspect network requests, or you also use proxy server, which looks on all requests it sends. You choose mostly post requests that require an answer from a database, and you try to inject into them, and you can send them separately. As it will be a post client, where some proxy program special, and you can do it. And you can also inject it in an input form. So when it's input form processor to the server, you can add some miscellaneous SQL code. And we have two main rules how to detect SQL injections. So I tell you, SQL injections, from my point of view, really easy as anything. The main rule: users should not never see SQL responses of errors in the raw form. So user can never can get access to the pure SQL answer. So even if you can't access to the database, but you see pure SQL errors or informations, it means a bug. Because if you, for example, you can't, if you see a raw SQL answer and even you can't break database, it means a more professional hacker will do it. So it's a bug 100%.
But where do you see it though? In the browser or on the website?
It's good questions. I'll show you. It's better one time show than long time tell. And the next rule: the purpose of testing is cause database to give unexpected response and be able to see it. Okay. So first rule: you bugs that you see raw SQL answer, and another one, then you allow to get unexpected behavior of database, error and whatever, console errors, some errors in the side code and so on. To understand the danger of SQL injection, attempt to do its operation. To receive any data from the database, you need to understand its type. Sybase, MySQL or Oracle. So to intrude in a database, if you found where it could be possible SQL injection, you need to know the type. And there is a way to know it without even knowing the technology of the site. For example, if you're familiar with company, you can suppose which kind of database you use, but you can also get know it by sending special requests, like hackers do it without really knowing. But you can actually Google this information. For example, you can Google what kind of database, use Google. So nobody hides this. Methodology of identifying SQL injection. Automatically or manually adding logical error to values in a query parameter. For example, at question mark, it will interrupt request or logically incorrect expressions. Sample here. Who can tell me where here is parameter? Where here is query parameter? Looking on this URL now.
No, you cannot zoom the URL.
It's too long.
On H1.
Sorry, it's not so comfortable. And
It's better, it's okay.
So tell me where here URL parameter. It's decoded. Some hackers.
Copy paste on the notepad.
לא, הוא מחליט את מה שהוא עשה, הוא רוצה לתת את זה למקום.
Yes. To 1 second question, too many actions. Where is this query? Where here is query parameter?
Query. 1. Can I rephrase for them, please? What does it ask from the server? What information does it grabs?
The parameter is book 203.
Yes.
Okay.
How the web queries work? You have website URL, and after this you have question mark. All after question mark is parameters. And who knows how? If, for example, in this example I have one parameter. If I want to add another parameter, how am I going to do it?
And
Yeah, so we're gonna like this. And for example, user equals 1. No, something like this. Any other parameters goes with and. So the main reason of SQL injection when it works in RL, you're trying to break a request by just adding simple how it's called?
Yes.
Comma, upper comma. This one, that's it. Why is this symbol? Can somebody say why is the symbol is dangerous for SQL? You learned SQL, no? Yeah.
אתם זוכרים? דיברנו על הגר שיש בתוך, כשמנסים לשלוף נתונים מהטבלה, זה יש הבדל בין מספרים.
Yes, if you don't have uppercase, if you don't have uppercase data, it's always used with hashes. So it's more efficient way. You can use without them, but it's not 100% that your format will be processed. But this hashes will be exactly like hash. And when you put a hash in the request, it breaks the original request that is in the code of the page. So it has closing. It has, for example, you have parameter hash, some parameter hash, and you put hash in the middle, so it stops the request. And after that, you write union and give me access to admin panel and drop database. So you write something and you stop. The hash stops the original request, and after that you can try to write yourself.
Does it process the previous request before the hash?
Yes. Yes or not, it's no matter. I don't care.
Yeah, because it drops anyway.
It will do whatever you want. Usually yes, but it's also can doesn't work. So, but we not really care. We care about if we can extract some data. So here is examples of the most common ways to try inject in SQL. You put after parameter hash, you pay parameter hash and 1, and you put or 1 or 1. It's logical and consistent that can should send the error from database. All you need an error, like in Beatles song. All you need is error. That's it. If you see error, you can exploit it. If you don't see errors, mean you have nothing to do there. And different, you can put hash, you can put hash and number, and you can, if it doesn't work, if it really works, so what they do is interrupt previous query with anything, one, no matter it will return something or not, and you start your request. Select count from table names. So you want to know how many tables server has, for example, and so on and so on. And you want username from per database, and you want to know the users, and so on and so on. And this is not that. It's only a few samples that I gave you, and the right side, MySQL injection cheat sheet, same like was for XSS. And we have much more samples for, this is, by the way, this is example for MySQL, because MySQL is the most common database in the web. Most of people use PHP plus MySQL to build small sites. So this is for MySQL. For another database, you should Google another cheat sheet, but this also could work. It also will probably work. So this is the cheat sheet. You see, you have a lot of samples. You can, I can't hold it in my head, and you can. So like this. And now I remember you get the sample. Now we see a sample of vulnerable site. This is a website. Some website that's selling something. Let's look at first. Let's improve you. This is some site of, I don't know, I found it in internet. Wow coverings. they send in wallpapers. I don't know who's the head over. We have one Nelson similar. And they sell in wallpapers. They have different kind of products. And if you click on it, you see this wallpaper and wallpaper post, and you can buy it probably. But you probably don't see it, but I will tell you. What you have here, you have here an URL. I will explain you. Don't. I have here ID equals 143. So there is hundreds of different wallpapers, and each wallpaper has ID. And for this ID, it requests from database is image and description. So image and description holds database and just in query. So I will check what is. Here is the SQL injection could be. I put hash. What I see? It's become broken. You see here, warning, MySQL. Warning, MySQL fetch array, space parameter 1 to resolve, boolean give something else. So you see poor SQL answer from the server. What it means? It means that it shows answer from database to the user, and I can try to exploit it. I can try get to the database because it doesn't ship it. So this is how it works. This is a real bug of SQL injection.